Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Coram and Carson with a look at the market action for Thursday, January 11th, where we saw some resiliency with indexes battling back to get to about even after declines earlier on in the session amid some big economic related headlines. Ed, so tell us more.
Yeah, it was an interesting day. Look at the closing prices, and you'd think it was we were almost on a holiday. But I want to take a look at a few stocks: Netflix, Shift4 Payments, and Samsara.
Okay, we'll get to those three stocks, but first let's take a look at the major indexes. So the Nasdaq today closing just fractionally higher on the day. Same for the Dow, the S&P 500 fractionally lower on the day, down about 0.1%. And the Russell 2000, the hardest hit today, but still down less than 1% by session's close. Ed.
Yeah, so it started off, the consumer price index came in a little hotter than expected, not too much, and that did press up Treasury yields. But Treasury yields reversed lower, and so that helped boost the market in the afternoon. And also going back to the Nasdaq, all the major indexes, really came down. I don't know why. There was no real reason. Ultimately, I think people felt maybe the inflation numbers didn't change anything. Okay, the Nasdaq got above 15,000 intraday, so that was a key level. It never came down to its 21-day line, and that's a theme for the major indexes. So even though it came down, it wasn't fun. It's like, boy, this is selling off. This is selling off. It really didn't get to any real danger areas.
Right.
You're looking at the S&P 500, that actually brushed up and hit a 52-week high, and that was just a handful of points, less than 0.5% from the all-time high. So it was really close. The Dow actually hit another all-time high. So it's an area where you might expect some resistance.
Right.
It's acting well, showing resilience. It's a market rally that doesn't want to go down. The Russell, not so great. That's a little bit, that the breadth hasn't been great, but there's enough leaders that are doing well. So at least for investors you'd like to see the breadth improve, but that's acting pretty well.
Yeah. Enough said there. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of quick ETFs here. So let's start with Bitcoin, a wild day. We officially have those ETF approvals for the spot price tracking Bitcoin. So Bitcoin itself coming off highs, a lot of other Bitcoin related plays having some wild days, big reversals lower like Marathon Digital, Coinbase, another one that was hit relatively hard, MSTR, another one there too, GBTC. We can check in on that one. This one's transitioning to a spot price and ETF, and it just managed to close up fractionally higher on the day. But, potentially a sell the news event here. Ed, we'll definitely keep track on the crypto space. Let's take a look at it. Another couple of ETFs here. SMH reversing higher by sessions close, up 0.6%. We've got IGV tracking the software sector, up 0.8%. And then we have XLI industrial stocks slightly down on the day, down 0.2%, but off lows, hanging in there, but definitely seeing those tech related areas of the market performing nicely. So speaking of tech, let's go to Netflix. NFLX up almost 3% on the day amid some subscriber figures for its ad tier.
Yeah, so now apparently there's 23 million users for the ad tier. I don't know if that translates exactly to subscribers, but that's definitely showing growth. Got back above the buy point of 482.70. You could say it broke a downtrend. You could say, rebounded from the 10-week line this week. Intraday, it got to its highest level in almost 2 years. So pretty positive action here. Yeah, it came off highs, but then the market did bounce back. I can't get too upset about a 3% gain on a day when the indexes are flat. So that's showing strong performance. Earnings are coming up in less than 2 weeks. That's just something to note for people who are thinking about taking new positions.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be enough time to get a profit cushion. Might be on the verge there, but traders can always, if they see a stock that's looking actionable, see if they can get that profit cushion and then make the decision when the earnings are actually due if they want to keep holding it. Okay, next, let's take a look at FOUR. This is Shift4 Payments, a nice gain on the day at a key level.
Yeah, so it rebounded off the 21-day line. The volume was light, but it picked up from where it was. When it started to move, it was more like down 45% versus, so at least it's something. It sort of broke a trend line. You could argue there was sort of like a tight one or a loose one, depending on how you draw it. I think it did it over either one by the end. On a weekly chart, it could sort of look like a handle
Hmm.
to this really sort of ugly looking base. Let's be clear. This is not a pleasant looking base, but maybe it's almost getting to the length of a full on base. So it's nice to see it consolidate here for a while, because sometimes you see that either a new base or a long handle on an ugly looking chart and sort of make it look a little bit prettier in that regard, provide an opportunity to enter. This one has some pretty strong growth, so something to be watching as earnings season rolls on.
Yeah, nice volume spikes and really good looking fundamentals there as well. Let's round things out with a look at IoT in the enterprise software group. It too is right around its 21-day line, a gain of 1.2% on the day.
Yeah, so this is another one sort of bouncing off the 21-day line. You could have been entering. It's off the 10-week line this week. A lot of stocks are doing that. I mean, there's a lot of leaders that found support there. It's back above the buy point. Yeah, this is the old IPO high. It had tried trading tightly, but that was the end of the year. A lot of tight patterns didn't really work out. I mean,
Right.
it's sort of, so you could buy it here, maybe a little more strength. You could see breaking a trend line within that area. Maybe it forms another base sort of next to the top of that base. So there's ways you could play that. Obviously a strong week. And there's, again, it's not just this one. There's a lot of stocks like Four and IoT that are making these kind of bounces, consolidating within or just above the top of prior consolidations.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Ed. Just one more word on what you think about the current market environment we're in.
It looks pretty. Look, this was a resilient day, and today sort of is like a microcosm of 2024 so far. Sort of like a little bit sort of scary action for a moment, but ultimately having pretty positive action. So I think it's healthy conditions. There's been buying opportunities. This even as the market consolidates. So it's been. I think it's been really healthy action. Today and so far this year.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Ed. And thanks to everyone for tuning in. We'll be back with more starting tomorrow morning on IBD Live. We hope you join us, investors.com/IBD Live for all the details on that. We'll see you there. If you are a swing trader member or trialist, we'll see you on over for our quarterly swing trader scorecard webinar happening at swingtrader.investors.com. Click on the top banner to join that webinar. We'll see you there and see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a good evening.